we always take a really special moment to really say that when you leave high school and you're looking for different possibilities, there's some phenomenal colleges out there. Every time you go to a college event, I'm always saying there's so many wonderful places to go. You can't go wrong. But I really want to talk tonight a little bit about why someone would want to attend CCRI and maybe use that as the launching pad, if you will, to start out a person's career. So let me take a moment to just talk a little bit about kind of how we look at these things kind of from a global standpoint. Is we know that, by the year 2030, that essentially 7 out of every 10 jobs in the state of Rhode Island will require some kind of credential, college credential. So we're really trying to make an impression upon any young person who's in high school to think about the impact of what it means to go to college. And so we really know that this is a really important thing to make people realize. We also know that when you have a college credential, that you are going to be putting yourself on track to be able to earn more money in your lifetime. And we know that if you can get an associate's degree at the Community College of Rhode Island, in your lifetime, you're going to be earning close to $21,000 more per year versus just having a high school or GED. So we know that investing in education is a really positive thing, and we're always trying to stress that. I know that the biggest, I think, strength that we have at our college, we are a melting pot of our entire community. Everyone is welcome at our college. I don't care what your background is, where you've come from, everyone is welcome at CCRI. And, we know that essentially almost 60% of students that come to CCRI are first in their family to attend college. That's pretty significant. And we want to make sure that we reach out to everyone in the community to let them know that we're here. We're here for them. We're here for you. And that's probably my most important message tonight. We know that 37% of our students are under the age of 20. And we also know that 41% of the students are people of color. So we are a diverse college community. We welcome everyone. And I always want people to know that any kind of help that you need, you just reach out to us and we'll try to help you. That's the most important thing. When you look at, who we are as an institution, we do have dual enrollment programs. And these are programs where students in high school can actually attend the community college while in high school. Those dual enrollment programs we can talk about later, but I want you to know that those are really becoming more and more popular all across the country, because it's a way of getting prepared while you're in high school to be ready for college. And it's a great, great experience. And we can talk about that in more detail in a moment. We do have a program, which I'm going to talk about in more detail, that I think Janet was speaking about. And that is for students that are graduating from high school. It's called the Rhode Island Promise Program. We'll talk about that in a moment. And then we have, of course, for adult learners, there are different classes that adults can take. There are certificate programs, degree programs. we are here for everyone. So we just want you to know that no matter what your age, what your background, there's always something at CCRI that we can help you, whether it's a family member who's graduated from high school many years ago, or maybe just wants to take a class, or obviously someone in high school who's getting ready to graduate either this year or over the next couple of years. I want to talk a little bit about this Rhode Island Promise program. This is one of the more exciting things, or probably the most exciting thing that I personally have been able to present in my career here at this college. The Rhode Island Promise program is just a pretty phenomenal opportunity that's made available to all Rhode Islanders. And what essentially it is, it's a way of saying everyone in the community, every student that has graduated or will graduate from high school will be eligible for 2 free years of tuition. And that's a pretty significant thing. It's something that we're so proud of and grateful for the state to have passed a law that essentially says that this is now in the law in the state of Rhode Island, that if you graduate from high school, that you have an opportunity to go to the community college for free for 2 years. So I want to talk a little bit about how that program works. Essentially, you have to be a Rhode Island resident in order to qualify for this. Now, I've had people say to me, what happens if I have a child who's going to, a high school that's, outside of Rhode Island, maybe a private school or some other school? As long as the child is, their residency is the state of Rhode Island, their family, then they would be eligible to participate in this program. So the first thing, of course, is being a resident and a graduate from high school. Or you can have your GED. So be a resident of Rhode Island, graduate from high school, or your GED. The second key point is you must be 18 years old or younger, but there is an appeal process that's pretty straightforward, and that's for those that are 19, 20, or 21 years old. So you must be 18 years old or younger, but there is an appeal process for those that are 19, 20, or 21 years old. The third thing is you have to enroll at the Community College of Rhode Island in the term immediately following high school graduation or GED completion. So if I was a student who's graduating in June of 2023, you would need to start your freshman year, your first year at college, in September of 2023. That's the semester immediately following graduation. So that's the third requirement. The fourth thing is you have to attend the Community College of Rhode Island full-time and be in an associate's degree. So you have to be a full-time student, and a full-time student means you're taking 4 classes or more per semester. All right, so I want to kind of digress a bit here. A 2-year college associate's degree means you're going to school in the fall of the year. So it would be September of 2023. And then you come back in the spring semester. And then you take the summer off. And then you have, again, the fall semester and the spring semester. It's 4 semesters, and you graduate in 2 years. That's the goal, is to get folks to graduate on time and get their associate's degree. Now, people want to know, how do I maintain this particular scholarship? You maintain the scholarship essentially as long as you, like I said, attend college continuously for 2 years. So you can't just take, some time out. You have to go every fall, spring, and then every fall, spring for 2 consecutive years. You must maintain a 2.5 grade point average. That averages out to be around a C+. And then you must earn at least 30 credits in a 12-month calendar year. And we try to make that happen by helping students taking classes in the fall semester, and also taking classes if they need be. They could take some courses in a winter semester that we typically have, and also we have some summer sessions as well. So the goal is to get 30 credits per year, which is essentially being a full-time student, and then maintaining that 2.5 grade point average. So what's beautiful about this program is that it's free, 2 free years of tuition. It takes the stress off of families that are working hard to put a roof over your head, purchasing food, and just living life. This is something you don't have to worry about. And that's, I think, probably the biggest advantage of having a Promise program in the state of Rhode Island. So we can talk about this. I don't know if anybody has any questions that they may want to ask. I can, maybe take a moment here to answer a question, Janet. Is there a question?
Well, actually, it was a question. There's actually another one. The first question was, will you be having a live presentation anytime soon? I don't know if that question is actually for us, for the school district. But I can say that what we're going to do is actually wait to see in January how things are. Because right now, I don't know, there's a lot of talk. Look, I'm sick. So it's still a chance that we may continue the Zooms for the Parent University. And at some point in the spring, when we have the spring sessions of Parent University, which will be between March and April and May, we may host a few in person, okay? And you will be notified, you will see these flyers and also the reminder text that you received today to remind you about this evening. Okay, so we have a few more. It says here, does this cover summer classes?
So when you look at the Rhode Island Promise program as written, it covers the fall and the spring semesters. But since this program has begun, we've always made available opportunities for students to make up courses if they had not been able to complete their 30 credits each year. So to answer the question, there's always an opportunity that we seem to provide during, say, a winter semester or a summer semester to really help students get that 30 credits completed so that they can maintain the scholarship. It's not official, but we've been able to find ways to make that happen for students. And I anticipate that will continue.
Okay. We have another question. We actually have 2 more and then we'll let you move on. I don't know if that question, like what happens if you leave after a year? Do you have to pay?
Great question. No, the reality is if a person comes to CCRI with the intention that, I want to give this a shot. I really want to see if I can complete this free education in a couple of years. But after 1 year, if for whatever reason, there's a sense that maybe I want to move on to something else, or maybe this is not what I was hoping it would be. The reality is, I'll give you one example. I had a student a couple of years ago when Promise was, kind of first starting out, and they came here for 1 year, and then they had enough credits to then go on to University of Rhode Island. And they really wanted to go to URI because they had dorms and we don't have residency halls here at CCRI. So they left, and no, there's absolutely no penalty whatsoever. It's really, our intention is always about making this associate's degree a possibility. That's what we're always shooting for, is for a student to come here and graduate with that associate's degree so that they can move on. But absolutely, if someone for whatever reason feels that they just, it's not their cup of tea, it's not what they want, there's no penalty whatsoever.
Okay. So this question is in Spanish, and I'll translate. I'll read it in Spanish first. Buenas tardes. Me gustaría saber, ¿todos los jóvenes pueden ser beneficiarios del programa independientemente de estatus migratorio? Gracias. So someone is asking, good afternoon. Are all, youth eligible to participate in this program regardless of their immigration status? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. I'm really glad that someone asked that question, because I can tell you that there are, first of all, everyone is always welcome at CCRI. I said that from the beginning, and I'll always say that. There are rules in place. There is a student success law in place that says that if you're currently not in status as a person, living in Rhode Island, some people would call it undocumented or in between status or out of status. I mean, we don't label people. Like I said, everyone is welcome. But if you are in that situation, we have students that certainly are in between statuses. Currently, they're not a U.S. citizen, they're not a permanent resident, but they're currently, not in a particular status. There is what's called the undocumented student law, which is called the Student Success Act. And it's on our website too. See if you ever want to kind of see what that looks like. But the way that works is a student, first of all, as long as you graduate from high school, you're welcome to come to CCRI no matter what your status is. But the undocumented student law is about how does a person qualify for in-state tuition. So in order, if I'm, say, in a situation where I'm undocumented or in between my status, and I graduate from high school and I want to go to CCRI, first of all, again, you're welcome to do that. But in order to get the in-state tuition, which then qualifies you for Rhode Island Promise, you have to have attended a Rhode Island high school for 3 years. So again, that's not a CCRI, directive. That's more of that's a state law that's in place. So the only stipulation is you'd have to have attended a Rhode Island high school for 3 years. So if that's the case, you would then submit an application under it's right on our website. It's an undocumented student application, where there's a process where you would actually submit your application, and there's some paperwork that you need to fill out. It's pretty straightforward and it's easy, and we'll be more than happy to meet with you confidentially to talk about it. And then you would be eligible for the in-state tuition, which then means you're eligible for the free Rhode Island Promise education. If you unfortunately don't have 3 years attendance in a Rhode Island high school, you can still get accepted, but unfortunately, you'd be considered an out-of-state student. I hope that answers that question.
Yes. So we have additional questions, but I'm going to merge two and then let you move on, Rob. So so I'm merging two. It's about transfers, right? Transfer of credit. So how do we know what credits transferred to another school, in this case, CCRI? And if you know, like, what colleges are CCRI's credits transferable to once you're done in for a bachelor's degree?
I actually, if it's okay, I'd like to defer that question only because I'm actually going to be talking about that in a moment.
Okay.
But I want to actually kind of reinforce that with a slide.
Okay.
So I definitely will answer that question in just a moment.
Good. And then I think the other questions that are coming up, that's going to happen. So go right ahead. You can continue.
Okay, and I just want to we were talking a moment ago about this idea that, well, how do you know if you're undecided? Like I was undecided when I was going to college, and I remember feeling kind of frustrated with that. I was like, why is it that my friends know what they want to do, but I'm not totally sure. I think that that's really what we see a lot with young people, and I hope that's very natural feeling. I know that I struggled with that. I didn't know what I really wanted to do. We have what's called the academic and career pathways at CCRI, and so proud of these because we have over 90 programs of study at CCRI. There's something here for everyone. But a lot of times it's like going to the restaurant and not knowing what to order, right? I mean, I'm not sure I know what I want. We try to break down our programs into 7 academic pathways. And you can see that we have health and health administration, arts and humanities, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, education, government, and human services. We have communications, media and film. We have business economics and data analytics, and also environment and sustainability. So these are like the 7 categories or pathways that we are trying to encourage students to take a closer look at. A lot of times a student may not know exactly what the major is, but they have an interest in a particular pathway or an area. I was meeting with a student earlier today who basically, was looking at these exact pathways. It's right on the front of our website, ccri.edu. You'll see right at the bottom, you can see all of these 7 pathways, and they have little videos that you can click on to find out more about the various pathways. And inside those pathways are the different majors. The 90 plus majors are inside those pathways. So I'm always encouraging people to take a look at that when you're trying to get a feel for what it is that you have an interest in. Because again, in the end, you're making a contribution using your personality and your interest. And it's really important that you do something that you're passionate about and that you have an interest in. I always tell the story. A few years back, we had a young lady who graduated from our college. She was part of our dental hygiene program, and she was the #1 student in that particular program. It's a wonderful program. And she had a guaranteed job, and everything was really moving forward for her. But she really, she was not happy. And she was in my office. She was really upset. And I didn't understand why she was upset. But she went on to tell me that the reason she felt that way was because she was doing this only because her parents had told her that this is something you should do because you have a cousin who's a dental hygienist, who does really well, who buys a new car every 2 years, who dresses up in wonderful clothes. She has a wonderful job. You should do the same thing. And I'm always telling people, parents love you to death, obviously, right? But I also know that it's important that we give students an opportunity to explore, to make sure they know why they're doing it, and is it the lifestyle that's going to match their personality. What you wind up doing, in my opinion, needs to match up with your personality and how you want to spend your time. So these pathways are something we explore with all students at CCRI. The other thing I also want to just kind of mention is, we have some phenomenal health science programs. We have the largest nursing program in New England. We accept 400 nurses every single year. We're looking for nurses. There's a nursing shortage out there. We have phenomenal programs in radiography, x-ray, diagnostic medical sonography, dental hygiene, physical therapy assistant, occupational therapy assistant. I can go on. And I just want you to know that we actually are the college that produces more healthcare workers in the state of Rhode Island than any other college. So if you're interested in a health career, this is really the place to go. It's a phenomenal place to go for health sciences. I also think it's important that I mention that anytime a student is making a transition to attend college, every time I'm at a presentation, I'll ask people, to raise your hand and tell me, are you afraid of failure? I know that I personally remember feeling my very first semester in college, I was feeling the stress of feeling like maybe I would fail, that maybe I wouldn't be able to do it. And I hope you know that if you're feeling that way, or if your son or daughter feels that way, I think it's a very, very normal feeling. It's that feeling of wanting to do well, but sometimes maybe having some doubt. We have a student success center at our college, and we have a host of services that you can see on this particular slide that I'm sharing with you. We have people that are here to help you every step of the way, whether it's trying to figure out what your career choice is, where you're looking for help in putting together a financial aid application. You need help putting an application in because maybe you're an undocumented student. We talked about that. You're looking for some advice. We are here to help you every step of the way. So I always tell people, you have a tremendous support system here. The key to it is to reach out and ask for that help. And I assure you, you'll get that help when you reach out. The other thing I want to say is when you're at any college, whether it's CCRI or any other college, encouraging your sons and daughters to try to get active outside the classroom. I know that that's tough sometimes. A lot of our students are working. They have jobs, they're trying to go to school, they have family responsibilities. But anytime you have a chance to participate in something outside of the classroom, it's a wonderful opportunity to meet new people and make some friendships and some connections that will in many ways last a lifetime. I can tell you that I'm still friends with a number of people that I went to college with, and they're probably some of the best relationships I've had in life. So I'm always encouraging people. We have wonderful athletic programs, we have cultural events, student clubs, tremendous theater department. So just want you to know that it's something to think about when you're going to college. I also, kind of want to go back to this idea that I know that especially in this moment in time, there's a lot of concern among families. I see it all the time. People are concerned. They're trying to put food on the table. They're trying to maintain their home. They're trying to drive an automobile. I mean, there's so many expenses out there. There's been some inflation, in the last couple of years. So I know that costs of anything are very, very significant. And you can see that, again, I think the world of University of Rhode Island and Rhode Island College, I think they're phenomenal colleges. I think there's some phenomenal private colleges out there. I think they're all great. I really do. But I also know that there is, a difference in cost. And a lot of times families are telling me, I'm not prepared to take out student loans. I'm not prepared to take out parent loans. I really am looking for an opportunity that will minimize the stress for my family. So, as you can see, our CCRI tuition is significantly less, but also remember, if you take advantage of the Rhode Island Promise program, you're going to school for free. And that's your tuition and fees for free. So that's why, I just want to make sure that, when you look about the savings that are involved, it's pretty significant, very, very significant. Now, I also want to talk to you. I know that a moment ago we were talking about transfer. Transfer is the number one priority at CCRI for all of our students. We'd like to obviously talk about the value of coming to CCRI and saving money for 2 years. We always talk about that. I mean, that's clearly a benefit for students and families around the state. But I also know that there's this other part of what we call the value proposition, and it's called the Joint Admissions Agreement. It's called the JAA, or Joint Admissions Agreement. Now, the way it works is, a few years back, we found out that, our state needs to produce more college graduates, that we're not at the top. We need to produce more of our sons and daughters to come to college and to graduate and move on and get those good jobs. And we know that the Rhode Island Promise program, of course, was a way of saying, let's make this accessible to everyone in our community. But also there was the sense that we need to also see if some of our graduates will go on to 4-year college degrees and complete those. So yes, you can get an associate's degree at CCRI for free, but we also want to encourage you to take advantage of what's called the Joint Admissions Agreement. And what that is, it's an agreement with the University of Rhode Island and Rhode Island College, where a student has a guaranteed acceptance into that college if they decide they want to move in that direction. So I'll tell you how this works. I had a student in my office maybe about 3 weeks ago who wanted to go in the worst way to the University of Rhode Island. And this young lady really wanted to go there, but her grades were not quite there. So she knew that she's not going to get accepted into the University of Rhode Island right now. So she's coming to CCRI and she wants to pursue business. She wants to be a business major. So I said to her, I said, why don't you take advantage of the Joint Admissions Agreement, the JAA program, where the way it works is you sign a contract with, it's called the JAA contract, and you state that you want to go to the University of Rhode Island. And when you sign that contract, it doesn't cost you anything, and it doesn't cost you anything to break it. But the way it works is you sign the contract and you have now advising from not only the Community College of Rhode Island advisors, but also advisors from the University of Rhode Island. So you're getting advisors from both colleges, and every single one of your courses that you're taking at CCRI under this joint admissions program will automatically transfer to URI once you graduate. So the way it works is not only are you getting a guaranteed acceptance, you don't have to fill out another application to URI, you don't have to worry about SATs. You are literally coming to CCRI, you graduate with the associate's degree, and then you fill out a form and you get an automatic acceptance into the University of Rhode Island in the business program. And what I love about it also is that if you have a grade point average that's over 3.0 when you graduate from CCRI, that you also have a possible financial incentive. You can get anywhere from 10, 20, up to 30% off in your tuition when you go to the University of Rhode Island for your junior and senior years. It's all based on what your final grade point average is when you graduate from CCRI. So there's another interesting financial incentive. This program is phenomenal. And again, this is for someone that says, I want to go to URI, I want to go to RIC. There's a specific program I'm interested in, a particular major. Maybe it's business, maybe it's art, maybe it's one of the programs that are designated inside the program. And I want to encourage everyone. I mean, we'll certainly talk more and more about this when you submit your application, but this is a phenomenal program. The other thing I also want to point out to you is that, and I think the question was asked earlier, how do I know if something's going to transfer? And I think that's that's a wonderful question, because what happens sometimes is when a person comes to any college initially, and they're not sure they know where they want to go, that's where it kind of breaks down. So like we have agreements with, 4-year colleges all around the country, whether it's, Johnson & Wales, PC, Bryant. We have all kinds of transfer agreements where our students can then go to these colleges and move forward. But sometimes if you want a program at a particular college, but you haven't actually knew that in the beginning, you will lose some credits. So the key is for us to find out in that first year at CCRI what it is that you really want to do. And if we can find that out, we can then make sure that we put together a plan that will help a student seamlessly transfer to that other college.
Rob, I wanted to just ask you really quick if you can clarify. Again, the JAA is separate from the Promise program, or is part of the Promise program?
Thank you for asking that, Janet. Yes, it is separate. It's separate because if a student says, I want to come to CCRI, and let's say they want nursing. They come to CCRI, they get their associate's degree in nursing at our college, and then they say, I want to go out and start working. I want to start, I want to be a registered nurse now with the training that I have received. Maybe that's what a student wants to do. They only want an associate's degree, and then they want to go out and work. We have students that's their pathway. But the joint admissions agreement is for those that want to have a 4-year college degree after graduating from CCRI. It's not together, it's separate, but we like to say, if you put them together, it's really a phenomenal package. But no, you could just simply say, I want to go down Promise for 2 years, and that's it. But we like to always talk about the joint admissions agreement together, only because we're saying here's an opportunity to not only get the first 2 years for free, but also a pathway to help you get into a 4-year college in a way that's going to be really efficient and actually, in a way, save you some money if you do well at CCRI. I hope that answers the question.
It did. It did. Thank you. Rob, did you want to continue or take a few questions?
You tell me. I'll stay here all night if you want.
No, no. So let's see if because we have some more questions really quick. Okay. So you answered the question, how do we know what credits transfer to another school? I'll start with that. If you know, okay, yeah, what colleges are CCRI's credits transferable to for the remainder of the 2 years? Covered that. Thank you. So a parent asked, ¿dónde se puede aplicar y hasta cuándo? So where do you apply and up until when? Or actually, when do you apply? Where and when?
So I'm actually going to cover that right at the end. I will tell you right now, I'm going to show you that on a slide, but I will say that the beauty of our application process is that, first, it doesn't cost you anything. I'm always, anytime I'm talking to a family or a student, they're so delighted to find out that they don't have to that no one's asking you for money. I remember that was always the big concern when I was applying for colleges. When I was in high school, it's like, how many can I apply for? Because there was always this kind of very sizable application fee. There's no application fee. It's all free. And the other thing is, it's a rolling admission, meaning that we are always encouraging people to do this sooner than later. And the reason we want you to do it earlier is because when you do this earlier and you get accepted, we can then help you to meet with an advisor and help you to get classes in areas that you want, a schedule that you really, really appreciate. So it's always best to do it earlier. But I would say that there is no deadline. So, but we're always saying, if you're graduating, for example, in June of 2023, if you're out there tonight and you're saying, my son or daughter, or you're a student here tonight, right? If you're graduating in June of 2023, I say put your application in tonight, tomorrow. I mean, it's real simple. I'll show you how to do it. And the most important part is that you'll get your acceptance before the holidays, and then we can start working on completing your enrollment steps. And again, no money involved throughout this process.
So Rob, again, just to clarify, so who actually can move forward with applying would be that family that has a student that's a senior this year?
Yes, anyone here tonight who is whose son or daughter is a senior graduating in 2023, I am encouraging you to submit your application as soon as you can. And I also, I hope some of you knew about this, but we had a really phenomenal open house a couple of weeks ago right here at our Warwick campus. It was really extraordinary. I can honestly tell you, it was a lot of fun. We had over 500 people show up, and we were very, very excited about meeting members of the community. We're going to do it again in the spring, I can assure you. But we also have coming up a virtual open house session that's actually coming up on Tuesday of next week at 6 o'clock. So anyone who is interested in that, it's right on the front of our website. Please feel free to register for that. Again, it's free, and a lot of the stuff that we're actually covering tonight will actually be covered again at that session. So anything that you miss, I encourage you to go to that. So yes, I would, if you're a junior or a sophomore, you do not have to worry about putting your application in at this point. I would wait until you actually become a senior in high school. Okay.
And again, just to clarify for some of our families that don't know what sophomore or junior is a 10th grader or 11th grader.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's 9, 10, 11, 12. And it's only the 12s, only the people that are graduating should be applying now. And then those that are the 11th grade, of course, next year at this time, we would be encouraging that group.
Very good. Okay. So there's a comment here for you, Rob. Yes, Rob is the best, by the way.
Oh, wow. I think maybe that's one of my relatives who just popped in, right?
So someone else here said, hi, did you also say you have to know within the first year what career path to take for the JAA?
Well, I want to clarify that. The Joint Admissions Agreement, JAA, before you earn 30 credits, which is your first year, right? Let's think about this. You need 60 credits to graduate with an associate's degree, 60 credits, 30 credits each year. If you want to participate in the JAA or the Joint Admissions Agreement, you have to have a decision whether you want to participate or not before the end of your first year. Now, what I always tell people is I would do it as soon as possible. And you say, well, what do you mean? I always look at it as being, if you sign up for a joint admissions agreement, and we've got this phenomenal JAA team here at CCRI. It's a group of folks that are just dedicated to this program. They're phenomenal people. They will encourage you to just put it in. In other words, let's just say after you put your after you get your acceptance into CCRI, to just do a JAA agreement, and they'll help you decide which one to just lock it in so that you have a contract with either URI or RIC. And then as we get closer to that 1 year mark, we can always maybe tweak it a little bit. But we're always trying to make sure that as many people take advantage of this, because I've had people that don't sign up for it, and then all of a sudden they realize they're in their second year here at CCRI, and maybe they're in the last semester, and then they're kind of kicking themselves saying, gee, I probably should have done that. So a lot of our advisors will really be encouraging as many students to just put one of these joint admissions agreement applications in. Again, it doesn't cost you anything. And they'll figure out what's probably the best approach, whether a URI, RIC, and what particular program. And then we'll try to figure out the details from there. What I was saying earlier is that our hope is for as many people as possible to have a better appreciation for what you think you may want to do by the end of your first year. But it doesn't work that way all the time. It really doesn't. But with the Pathways program that I was showing you, many times we can get you to the pathway. So I may not know exactly what I want to do, but I kind of have a feel for the pathway that I have an interest in. And that's what I love about those pathways, because a lot of times what we're trying to do is match up what you're interested in a general path. And that to me is really important. So a lot of times a person will say, I definitely know I want healthcare. I'm not sure if I want nursing. I'm not sure if I want, occupational therapy assistant or physical therapy assistant, but I know that I want to help people in that particular way. So we'll line them up in that health science pathway. So the goal is to get the application in, pick a pathway, which you can always change. I always tell people, don't worry about making a mistake. You can't make a mistake. Our goal is to try to help you figure it out, because I think that's the question I'm asked all the time. How do I go to college when I'm not sure I know what I want to do? I probably have to wait till I figure it out. And the answer is no, you don't have to wait, because what's happening for the first year or so, you're taking a lot of general educational courses that apply to many of the same programs. So you can't lose. And especially with the Promise program, you want to be able to start school exactly, right after graduation.
Okay, Rob. So thank you for the reply and clarification. That was another comment. I'm going to take this one more question and then you can move on. So it's in Spanish. ¿Cómo se pueden hacer los créditos en la high school, ya que dice 30 créditos por año? Es decir, desde noveno hasta año 12, ¿dónde los podría hacer? So I don't know, sounds like more like the dual enrollment. I don't know if you'll be talking about dual enrollment in any of your slides. But again, the question is, how can you actually complete some credits during high school, since you mentioned that it's 30 credits per year? So are you able to?
So I do actually have some slides that I can talk about dual enrollment. I actually put those at the end. Okay. I want to say that, in a nutshell, dual enrollment is really about taking some courses in high school, and the credits that you earn will then be applied towards your college degree at CCRI. So when you are taking these credits, it's putting you in a position where you're advancing yourself and getting some of the work done while you're in high school. And it's not for everyone, but they're phenomenal. I mean, this is probably one of the biggest movements around the country is dual enrollment. You walk up to any college president or anyone involved in college higher education, and dual enrollment is just a wonderful way for those that want to test the waters and get some experience of what it's like to take college courses while in high school. And again, I can review all of those programs with you in the backside of this discussion. But I would say to you that if you do take advantage of any dual enrollment program, whether it's at CCRI or any other place, it's wonderful, because those credits now, it's like putting money in the bank. It's like taking some credit for courses that you're taking and you're putting it inside of your college bank. And what I mean by that is it's going towards your degree. And that just takes the pressure off that when you then come to CCRI, you don't have to take as many courses. What's happening is you're going to graduate sooner.
That's right.
And that's something that some people value. And so we're always trying to be flexible to make sure that we're doing it the way a student wants to do it. Everybody has different kind of motivations, but I highly encourage you to take a closer look at the dual enrollment programs, which we'll talk about.
Okay. So we have a few more, but we'll wait for the next pause, or we'll wait for you to finish. So then,
okay. Yeah, and I just want to say that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the free application for federal student aid. That's called the FAFSA. And anytime you meet with any college, they're always encouraging you to fill out the FAFSA form. This is a free application for federal student aid. It's what every high school senior should do, filling out a FAFSA, because it's free. It doesn't cost anything. You can put different colleges on there. You can say, hey, I'm going to put in Johnson Wales. I'm going to put in, Rhode Island College, and I'm going to put in CCRI. I'm not sure which one I want at the moment, but I'm going to fill out a FAFSA and make sure that each of those institutions have my information. And essentially, I always tell people there's a couple of ways that we can help you with CCRI. We can you can attend a free FAFSA workshop, either virtually or in person, and we'll help you fill out that FAFSA form. We do that all the time, and it's a free service to the community. So we always say, don't ever pay anybody to fill out a FAFSA. There are folks out there that will try to do that. Do not pay a dime. It's free. That's why it's called the free application for federal student aid. And the other thing is we have our Educational Opportunity Center, we call it EOC, that's on our campuses, and you can also meet with them for free, either virtually or in person. And of course, there's also, the College Planning Center that's out there. There's many, many different wonderful organizations that are there to help you fill that out. And I know that, if you're one of those people out there that there's some people that love to do their own tax returns, and there are those that absolutely wouldn't do it if they were given $1 million. Okay, it's the same thing here. Some people just don't like filling out these forms. There's so much help right here to help you fill out those forms so that it will make it easy for you. All you have to do is show up at a session, bring some paperwork, and we'll get it all done for you. So it takes the stress off of you on that one as well. I also just kind of want to point out that, CCRI, we like to always say, hey, we're in your backyard. I'm at the Knight campus tonight. That's our home campus, if you will, in Warwick, Rhode Island. We have our Liston campus right near Rhode Island Hospital. It's one of my favorite campuses. It's small, it's intimate. It's a phenomenal community. Every time we go there, everybody knows each other. It's just, I love that place. Probably my favorite, to be honest. The Flanagan campus up in Lincoln, another wonderful campus in the northern part of the state. And we also have our Newport County campus down in Newport. It's right on the water. All of these places are available to you when you come to CCRI. If you ever say, I think I want to take a course, on a Saturday in Newport, or I want to take a course at night in Warwick, or maybe I want to go to the Providence campus on a Saturday morning. You can mix and match if you want. I mean, of course, I'm always encouraging people, to rip the bus. I take the bus to CCRI every day from Kennedy Plaza. So I meet many of our students right down there at Kennedy Plaza every single morning. So you can get to all these places by bus. The other thing that we have is a couple of satellite locations down in Westerly, the Westerly Education Center, if you happen to be down there. And recently, just a few weeks back, actually, the introduction of the Woonsocket Education Center, which we're very excited about, right in downtown Woonsocket. Just a phenomenal facility that we're offering courses there as well. So we always like to think that we're in your backyard. And also, just so you know, we also offer thousands of courses virtually if you think you'd like to have a virtual class. So we like to think of it, we can do it in person, we can do it virtually. We want to make it so it's easy for you. We want to make it so that we find a way to help you get your education. Because many of the people that we meet are doing, they're working, they have part-time jobs. Some have, they're working significant hours. So we want to make sure that, we meet you to help you do this. And, I'm always, saying to students, every time you make a decision on anything in life, right, you're checking off a box. And the boxes that are important to you is really what makes the difference. So, we always like to say, the fourth boxes, if you will, that we think we check off is if you feel like you want to be successful. And what I mean by that is you want an opportunity, okay, where your bank account's not going to be drained. You're not going to have that stress, but it gives you hope. It gives you hope to move forward with your life. We think that we offer a successful pathway to do that. Flexibility, like I said, whether maybe you want morning classes, maybe you're an evening weekend type person, or maybe you need a combination of some virtual classes and you just want to take some courses like on the weekends, we can come up with some very interesting flexible schedules to help you do that. Affordability, like I was pointing out earlier, we do have the lowest tuition, of course, but again, the Rhode Island Promise Program is the winner here in the sense that that is the vehicle to help you get it for free. And we really always want to explore that with every family, with every student in the state of Rhode Island. And then finally, the idea of it being local. A lot of people just want to stay home, for the first year or two in college. I'm always saying, there's nothing wrong with staying home and having some phenomenal people that you love around you while you're in college, and probably some phenomenal food as well. Staying home and just, being home for 1 or 2 extra years, I think is a wonderful choice. And I just want to say that, when we look at the steps of how do you apply to CCRI, all of these steps, like I said earlier, are free. There's no stress here. So you go to the CCRI homepage, ccri.edu, and you'll see a button that says apply. You just press that button and it will direct you to the first time student. And all you do is you fill that application out, probably take you 15 minutes tops. And what will happen is within a few days, you'll get an email that will accept you into CCRI. And I just think that's, it's pretty exciting, especially if you're a senior, you're getting ready to wrap up the fall semester. We're getting ready for the holidays. I just think it would be a wonderful opportunity to sit around the table with your family and friends and say, hey, I got my first college acceptance. And it's something, it's in your hands. You can do it tonight if you wanted to, okay? And then what happens is sometime, say maybe around, say February, take a little break during the holiday. February, you'll either submit your SATs. If you have SATs, okay, it's not required, but if you have them, you can submit those SATs. And you say, why? Because what we're trying to do is come up with a placement. When we're placing you in your courses, we want to make sure that we're placing you in the correct courses. So if you have an SAT grade and I think it's like over 390 or above, then you don't have to take what's called the AccuPlacer test. So if you've not taken an SAT, don't worry about it. You can schedule what's called an AccuPlacer test. It's a reading, writing, and math test. It's free. And you can either take it virtually or on any one of our campus locations. And again, the test is not about right or wrong. It's about trying to make sure that we're able to find out where your skill levels are in reading, writing, and math. The biggest challenge for every person going to college is making sure that we're giving you the right courses. And so when you sit down with your advisor, they're actually looking at how well did you do in high school? How well did you do if you have an SAT? How well did you do on this AccuPlacer? And what they're honestly trying to do is making sure that they're giving you the appropriate classes. That's all they want to do. So that is a free thing. We ask people to, we reach out to all of your high schools, all the seniors, and we ask for your mid-year transcripts. We have to have your mid-year transcripts so we can actually put that in our system so that our advising team can actually look at that along with your AccuPlacer and or SAT. And then, of course, we ask for your final transcripts after you do graduate, because that's one of the requirements for the Rhode Island Promise program. The FAFSA form I talked about, that's step number 4. You do have to fill out a FAFSA form. And again, it's free, and we'll help you with that. And then finally, step 5 is you'll sit down with your own advisor. And the advisor will sit there and make sure that everything is in order, that you know why you're doing it, you know where you're going, to make sure you feel good about this next step in your life. And they'll help you pick out your courses. And then the last step is we have this really neat new system. It's called College Scheduler. And what it is, it's a way for you to come up with different types of schedules for your classes, where you plug in, hey, I need to be free on Tuesday night. I can't go to school on Friday morning. You put all these different things in, and then it gives you multiple schedules, different schedule opportunities to help you move forward with the schedule that's going to work for you, so that you're feeling like, hey, this fits in with my lifestyle. And that's basically how that all works. Now, I can also, just kind of touch upon the idea that we were talking earlier about dual enrollment. Dual enrollment, again, is taking courses in college while you're in high school. So we have 3 different dual enrollment programs at CCRI. One is called Accelerate. Accelerate is one of our newest dual enrollment programs. It's for Providence schools. And it's really, I think, a wonderful opportunity for those that want to spend their senior year. So I'm really kind of talking right now to any junior families out there. If you're a junior and you're saying, hey, I think I'm interested in some dual enrollment opportunities, this Accelerate program is pretty phenomenal. It's a way for you to spend your senior year at CCRI. And it's not for everybody, but it's for those that say, I really feel motivated. It's something I really want to do. And you're part of a really special group of people that said, I'm going to be a full-time student in my senior year. I'm coming to CCRI. I'm going to explore the pathways that we talked about earlier. It's going to be a way for me to prepare for what's going to happen to me after I graduate and get my high school education. This senior year is actually going to be a substitute for your senior year in high school. It's going to be the 1 year, full year at CCRI. And what I love about it, we like to say it's holistic. And what I mean by that is you're getting a lot of attention from people that want to make sure that we're part of a team to help you succeed. And you have advisors that are working with you every step of the way to make sure you're picking out the right courses, you're getting the right coaching, you're getting the right encouragement. And that's a very, very important thing. You have to have support, people around you supporting you, coaching you, and making sure that we're not letting you fall by the wayside. So this is a phenomenal program for those that really want to take it to that next level, that want to spend an entire senior year at CCRI in the Accelerate program. Now, this program is for someone that maybe has taken PSAT's test and scored over 410, that has more or less a 2.8 grade point average currently in high school. And so those that are doing really well as far as their attendance as well, you have to have been, going to school and taking it seriously. So this is a phenomenal program for you to take advantage of. That's one type of program. The other type of program we have, it's called the Running Start program. And Running Start is very, very similar to Accelerate. It's essentially for someone that, again, wants to spend their senior year. And this is for basically anyone outside the Providence school system. We came up with Accelerate as a special program that's very similar to Running Start, but it's basically, again, your senior year. So if you're in the Providence public school system, I would take advantage of the Accelerate. If you happen to be joining us tonight and you're not part of the Providence public school system, I would take advantage of Running Start. Very much the same type programs. And then finally, we have what's called our Running Start program, or excuse me, high school enrichment program. And high school enrichment is a program where you can come to CCRI and take 1 or 2 courses in your junior year and your senior year, okay? So if a student says, hey, I don't want to leave my high school to go to CCRI full-time for 1 year in my senior year, but I do want to take 1 or 2 courses, you can come to CCRI and take a high school enrichment course, either 1 per semester or 2 per semester. You can take up to 2 courses each semester. And it could be just an area that you're interested in. I maybe about a month and a half ago ran into a student who's taking an art course here because she happens to be interested in art. And she knew that we have a phenomenal art program. So she wanted to take an art course under the high school enrichment program. And how does it work? It's very simple. You'll sit down with your advisor and, of course, your parent or guardian, and make sure that everyone is in agreement that you're going to take a course or 2. And you fill out the application, and then we'll be guiding you every step of the way on that. That's phenomenal as well. I mean, now sometimes people will say, I think I want to take 1 or 2 courses that I know are going to transfer into a program that I'm interested in. So what I love about high school enrichment is it's what you want it to be. It could be, I just want to take something to enrich my life, or I want to take something that's more kind of geared towards college credits that I'll be using when I do graduate, whether it's at CCRI or any other college. So all of these dual enrollment programs, I'm sure we can talk more about them, but they're all, again, free applications. And a lot of this stuff is online, but we're always here. We also have a texting service online where if you ever want to, talk to us either through texting or feel free to come visit us in person. We love that even better. Whatever will work to, talk to you a little bit more about some of these programs. And the other thing, like I said, what's so important is finding your future is a journey. It really is a journey. And I can say to you, I remember someone telling me, each of us have around 28,000 days on planet Earth. And they were trying to say, the average person lives to be around 75. Now, I hope it's more than that. But, they were trying to make the point that for around 28,000 days, we're walking this earth. And the question is, what are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do to make a difference? And, when you graduate from high school, when you stop and really think about it, you've already now used up about 4,000 or 5,000 of those days. So when you're graduating from high school, it's really about 21,000 days. And I'm always telling students, what are you going to do in those 21,000 days? What are you going to do to make a difference? I think that we're all here to help people. And, are you going to help a person by representing a product? Are you going to help people by representing a service? How are you going to make a difference using your talents, using your energy, using your enthusiasm? That is what college is about. It's about really making you the best you can be. And I can say to you that that's our mission. That's what I'm passionate about. And I would be honored to have any one of you here tonight, or anyone at any given time. I was telling Janet, during COVID, I was meeting people at Dunkin' Donuts. I'll meet people anywhere at any time. We're just excited that, the fact that you would consider CCRI, we're honored, and you're all welcomed here. That's the most important message.
That's wonderful, Rob. Thank you so much. And by the way, I'm an alumni.
Well, I think you had mentioned that, and all I can say is that you're proof that it works.
That's right. Graduate from the Providence Public Schools way back in 1987.
What high school, Janet?
Central High School.
Central High School. Awesome.
Yes, yes. So, Rob, we have more questions. Okay, we're
Sure.
going to go through these probably quickly because you covered some of the material. Can you take classes at CCRI and go to a different college at the same time?
Yes. We have right now, a lot of that happens a lot during the summer months. We'll have students come from many different colleges. I can remember a student not that long ago who was going to Stonehill College. I guess it's in Easton, Massachusetts. And they were taking courses in the summertime at CCRI because they didn't want to drive all the way to, I think it's in the Brockton area. And they took some courses at CCRI, but they were still, a student at Stonehill College, for example. So yes, you can do that. The most important part about mixing and matching colleges is from a financial aid standpoint, it's always best to talk to the financial aid folks to make sure that your financial aid is not duplicated. So typically when you're going to a college, they want to make sure that you're getting your financial aid from one particular college. So I would just be a little careful about that piece.
Okay. Can you take classes at CCRI? Okay, we just answered that one. I'm sorry. Is it too late to apply for dual enrollment?
Not at all. Dual enrollment, and again, we have to define which dual enrollment, right? Are we thinking about the Accelerate program, which again would be that full-time program in your senior year? That's something that you can apply for, say, the first of the year. That's definitely something, again, if you're interested in that, great program. But if you're just saying, no, I just want to, I'm a junior or senior and I want to take a course or two, either for the spring semester that starts on January 18th, or I want to take a course, next fall. No, this is ongoing. If you really want to be part of a dual enrollment program, I highly encourage you to go for it. I mean, it's definitely available to you. Definitely.
Okay. This is a comment. Dual enrollment is a terrific opportunity for those who are interested. Great way to get credits for college and is affordable. And finally, is the high school enrichment program free for PPSD students?
Yes, it is. And thank you for clarifying that. I probably did not mention that. No, it is free. And as long as it's a college course. So a lot of times people will say, well, what do you mean by that, Rob? We have developmental courses at CCRI, and we have college level courses. So as long as you're taking a college level course, it is paid for. And so, yes, that's why I'm saying if you can get some courses, whether it's through the Accelerate program or the Running Start program or the high school enrichment program, and it's being paid for, it's just another wonderful way for you to get that head start on going to college. But again, I always say before you take that step, sit down with your family and your high school advisor and have that conversation, and get people around you to support your decision, and make sure that you're picking out the right courses as well, just so that everyone is on the same page.
That's great. So we don't have any more questions. I did want to mention that, you mentioned FAFSA earlier. You mentioned College Planning Center. And right now, in December, January, I think that this is when we start talking about FAFSA, right? Especially for our seniors. And so yes. I just want to encourage our families that are here, to sit with their students, their children, and kind of just be a part of this conversation. I know that schools many times, they send the information directly to students because they're in front of them, right, at the school level. But there are times also that parents will be invited to the school to also, and you don't have to wait for an invitation. So I think that that's my point right now. Please don't rely on waiting for an invitation. I think it's important that students do meet with their guidance counselors, right? And so they do receive general information with regard to college admission and access. But at the end of the day, it's really important that you stay part of that conversation, moving forward. And so, I'm trying to just make sure that you are encouraged to do that, because students are attending, let's say, advisory at the beginning of the school year. And then there are other opportunities that they are meeting with guidance counselors. So having conversations at home about what they're thinking about, what are their interests, you being part of that conversation is super important, right? And so now you have this information regarding CCRI, and wonderful programs, Rob, I have to tell you. I wish they were all available back in the 80s. So this is a great opportunity for our future students that are leaving the Providence School Department. So I want to thank you, Rob, for joining us today. Our families were definitely engaged, and I believe we might have had a few students online. And so I am hopeful that perhaps for the spring session, there will be an opportunity for you to come back and kind of share what might be some opportunities that we should be more aware of as we're getting closer to the end of the school year. But other than that, I think that if you want to share some last words, Rob, anything with regard to, reminders to our families, and any phone number that you think is really important for them to have to reach out. You did mention some supports that they can actually call, some departments there. You can share that once again.
Yes, thank you, Janet. I do want to just sort of piggyback on what you said a moment ago. I know you're trying to encourage families to make sure that FAFSA gets filled out, but I want to say that, one of the biggest challenges from an admissions standpoint is we're always, when we're out in the community or in a high school, I'm always saying, get your application done, get your FAFSA done, get all the enrollment steps completed as soon as you can. And the reason is because, first of all, and I know I'm repeating myself, but there's no money involved. So it's not going to be like people asking you for money. There's no money, all right? It's really about you taking your time and getting it all done, because one of the things that I feel is one of the greatest feelings that I think any of you seniors out there can have is, just imagine for one moment, you get all these steps done and it's now April 15th and you still have maybe another month and a half in high school. It's your senior year. To be able to walk around the final month and a half, having your application done, your FAFSA is done. You've taken your Accuplacer or you've submitted your SATs. You've met with your advisor. You actually have your college schedule. You have your college ID. Everything is signed, sealed, and delivered. It hasn't cost you a dime. And you spend the next 6 weeks enjoying your senior year. And basically, it should be a very special time for you. You then, on August 1st, could wake up and say, I don't want to do this for whatever reason. I have another opportunity. I have changed my mind. Those things do happen. But to be able to then just go on your phone or your computer and just press delete on August 1st is, I think, something that I'm trying to get everyone to realize. That's how you want to do it. Now, we don't want you to press delete, of course, but to have everything done, because what happens a lot of times from where I'm sitting is we're reaching out to people, we're text messaging them, we're calling them, and they're getting busy now because now, they graduated in June and now they're off doing different things. And we're out trying to make sure that enrollment steps are being completed during the months of June, July, and even into August. And I'm saying we can avoid all that, avoid all the stress by getting everything done as soon as possible. And that's what I'm always encouraging, simply because what's really stressful is seeing someone come into my office or meeting with them at one of our enrollment days, and they can't get into a class because it's already filled out, a particular class that they want. Or maybe they still have to take their Accuplacer test and they don't have time to do it because now they're heading out to some, 1 week vacation with their family or something. I'm always saying, try to get it done as soon as possible. That's my biggest recommendation. I'll be saying that throughout the year. And also, like I said, there's right on our website, you'll see there's a text message, there's a text number where you can contact us anytime from 8 until 4 o'clock every day. And if you have additional questions or messages, or if you need to reach us, just text us and say, hey, need to talk to you, or got a question for you. Or if you happen to be in one of our locations, pop in. I'd love to meet all of you. I'm always here. I'm sometimes out recruiting, of course, but we would love to meet you. And so I just, I want to first of all say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to take some time tonight from your schedule. And I hope you feel better, Janet. I think you're sounding better now. Well, maybe it's because you're going home to eat.
Yeah, it might be that.
but thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Yes, and thank you, Louis.
And Pedro.
And Pedro.
Yes. And we're not ending our Zoom yet, so please don't leave us. Rob, I'm going to ask you to, you're able to exit now. I'm actually going to ask our audience here to give us some feedback. And so, but you can go ahead and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much. And again, for anyone who might have a question or concern, and you just need a little bit of guidance, our office is here to help. So please make sure that you reach out to us. You can always call our office 401-456-06 86.